Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween. We're live here doing a Halloween draft today, doing something a little different. I'm wearing a banana costume, but I'm realizing you can't really see the top of the banana because of the poster behind me keeps peeking through. Joe, you've gone festive as well today.
Yes, New Jersey Devils, and I actually think this adds to your thing with the just ominous face of Nick Cage coming through behind you,
It
Yeah,
is, yeah,
true.
it's
just
peaking.
trying to get through.
It's a good point. And then Dan, you have gone. Where are you? Are you in a graveyard right now?
Yeah, I'm in Transylvania here. In a graveyard, you can see there's a raven here in a tree. And these guys have got a roaring fire in the house just over my left shoulder. And there's a little pumpkin down here. When I move my arm, there it is,
Yep.
peeking through. So really scary times, but it's Halloween. It's the 31st of October, and we're having a good time.
It's kind of amazing how you have the budget to just travel to
Mm,
whatever is applicable to that week that
yeah.
we're recording.
Yeah, we got
This
a
is
little
kind
a
of
little
impressive.
pot we can dip into.
The pound is very powerful these
Yeah,
days.
Yes.
yeah, yeah. The pound
So
speaks.
so this is our first weekly wrap up, probably in a little bit less than 2 months. Took some
Hmm.
time off. We've maybe reformatted the show a little bit here, and we're gonna go less sports heavy, more stuff like Halloween drafts. But what's been going on? What's been up? We'll start with you, Joe. What have you been up to?
I just found out about an hour ago that I worked till a little after 5 o'clock on Friday, and left the office, went home, no problems. And now I'm reading that a SUV crashed into a restaurant across the street from my office,
Okay.
and I mean, like destroyed the restaurant across the street. I mean, it could have been me. That's really where I'm
What
at
do you
right
mean
now.
it could have been you? Could have been you
It could
driving into the restaurant?
no, it could have been it could have been me on the road, or if the cars veered the other way 10 minutes before, it
Okay.
would I going into the office, man. Who knows?
Seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Is this a common occurrence? You ever been in a place and a car crashed into a building moments after you leave?
I actually think my mom one time was in a restaurant that a car drove through.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that that's accurate. I don't want to put stories into her history, but I do believe that that's accurate. So I think she's got you beat. No offense.
I after if she's still here, we will reconvene and I will trade stories with her. Maybe not tell her.
Dan, what about you? What have you been up to?
No cars crashing through walls for me. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of Warzone. We've been doing the
Yeah.
only God Can Judge Me still running. We've been streaming on Twitch. Lots of stuff going on. Playing a lot of GeoGuessr at the moment. I have a YouTube channel now of all of my own. Dan underscore BTF. Get that little plug in there. And yeah, been doing sort of daily uploads of me failing miserably on GeoGuessr. But yeah, hopefully I'll get better eventually.
Are you
Uh,
interested in the PS5, Dan?
Yes and no. I think like that first round of consoles is always like really buggy, and
yeah.
there's always like some problems with it. And plus, because I've just sort of moved to PC for like, at least for Warzone. I don't know. I feel like I spent a lot of money on that, so maybe dropping another 500 on a PS5 is maybe not so necessary at the
What
moment.
is this?
But
Just a show of you bragging about how much money you have?
well,
First the
the only sum I've
travel,
mentioned is
then the PC.
500 on a PS5, and I didn't spend that. I said I don't want to spend that. The PC could have cost anything from 1,100 to 1,300. So we're not revealing, the cost of the items here on the show. But yeah, no, I maybe eventually I'll get it if everyone's like, it's absolutely amazing. But
Is it out yet?
no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think
I think it's
next
I
few
think it's
weeks.
November, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
like basically in time for Black Friday, which is just what employees need this year for Black Friday is more of a rush to
Well,
their stores.
I will say this as somebody in the industry, a lot of companies brands are going away from Black Friday. We do not have any focused Black Friday advertising,
Nice.
Okay.
which is unusual.
Is that what, a semantic thing?
It's more of a crowd thing, I think.
Okay.
and not so much semantics. I just don't think I think the day itself has lost its luster. I think it's become like a weekend more than a day, and I don't think it's it's frowned upon right now to have calls for large crowds in any kind of retail.
Well,
Yeah.
Amazon kind of killed it too, because Amazon
The
did
Cyber
they
Monday.
do like 5 Cyber Mondays.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
all these sales.
Prime
They have
Day.
Amazon Prime Week and everything. Prime
Yeah.
Day. Yeah.
But I do think it's a rush. I mean, and if you're an older person, I mean, I have older relatives that love Black Friday. Walmart TVs and all that stuff. I think it's fun. I've never done it. I would never get invited. We have Thanksgiving together, and then it's all right. Time for Black Friday. And there I sit, fourth quarter of the NBC game. But yeah, that's it.
I went one time Black Friday actually in Galveston, Texas. Went to Walmart, and it was a madhouse. It was a madhouse. I vaguely remember there being like puke on the floor somewhere as well. So it was like someone just ran in, puked, and then just kept running. So
Well, I guess
I
the
don't
nice
think
thing-
I'll be doing it this year.
it's obviously more suburban, so like there's like 3 Walmarts like around Route 23. Like there's one in Boonton, and there's one in Kinnelon, and there's one a little bit farther up. So I think that's a good way to separate it. I don't think that Black Friday there is as intense as maybe you're seeing. So
Yeah.
one day.
One day it will be. Yeah. All right. Should we jump into the draft? The thing we've promised everybody here. So we're going to be drafting 6 categories. We've got costume. We've got candy, movies, decoration, something scary, and then a wild card pick. Can be basically whatever you want. I haven't yet decided my wild card, so we'll kind of see once we get there. I did a randomizer before the show, so Joe is going to have the first pick. I will have the second. Dan will have the third, and then it'll snake back. So we'll start with costume. Will be our first category, and Joe will have pick 1, round 1, costume. What's your pick?
It's got to be football player. I mean,
Okay.
Tried and true. Put the old jersey on, put some eye black on, and that's it. I mean, here we go. Jeans, sweats. You don't even need an actual affiliation. And I've never done this. I will say, I admit, I've never done it. But just in general,
haven't? That's
No.
shocking.
never.
Were you a baseball player?
I was no, never baseball player. I was 2 years ago because I went out in Philadelphia. I wore a prison jumpsuit and had Elliot 21 on the back, which was a big hit with the Eagles fans.
Nice.
So I guess that's the closest I've gotten. But just really just a classic costume. So yeah.
So I'm gonna go with a more generic costume. This can kind of fit a lot of people, but I'm gonna go with the guy.
This is both genders. I mean, come on.
For sure. No. I'm just saying super generic. I'm going with any costume that requires someone to put a name tag on it or requires them to have to explain the costume throughout the night. For example, we had a friend of the program, Bradley Amos, who maybe one day will make an appearance, once wore a black t-shirt that just said "It's" on it, and then he would pull out a lighter and he'd light it, and everyone was like, "Oh, what?" And it was supposed to be "It's lit." Bad costume, but anything that requires that kind of explanation or something where you actually have to put the name tag so people know exactly who you are, that's my pick.
I would say that it's common right now with The Office, like the show The Office. Like a lot of people are having to put the name tags to identify which Office character they are. So I've been seeing a lot of. So yes, great pick.
Well, it's like in The Office when Jim just had Jim or whatever as his name tag, and then I feel like that's what started the phenomenon, and then that was about 15 years ago.
Right.
It's still going on, so it's great. Dan, what is your pick here in round 1?
So my pick is also quite generic. So I'm sort of going for the underprepared crew that don't really like dressing up and get roped into it at the last minute. So
like you and me, I'm assuming.
Any costume that you can make out of your like everyday clothes is my pick. So I've gone for something like maybe Men in Black. If you've got a black suit, You wear, you roll it out for maybe job interviews or funerals. And you've got like a little hands-free earpiece or something like that, and some black glasses. You've got a perfect Men in Black Halloween costume. Is that a Halloween movie? I don't know. We'll get onto that later. But yeah, you can also double that up as like Reservoir Dogs. I mean, we get into this whole sort of area of what is acceptable as a Halloween costume. Can it just be like anything from popular culture, or does it have to be, does it have to have a scary context behind it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the thing
banana, is
that
that
it
scary?
needs to have behind it is thought, which I've never put into any of my Halloween costumes. But I always loved being at parties in Texas where someone would just show up with a cowboy hat and they were a cowboy. It's like the
Yeah.
lamest costume you
it's
can
great.
do.
It's the best.
But I'm not above that. I'd happily do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something with thought. So are you, Joe? I feel like puts a lot of thought into his Elliot 21 as evidence. I don't. I was this banana when I had mono one year. Dan, actually, I don't know if I've ever washed this since I wore this when I had mono.
The best fancy dress, or like the best costume I ever wore was to it was like someone's birthday party, which I think was in like June or something like that, and I wore like a Santa costume, and that actually like was the best because it was just so out of context at the time. Awesome. But again, it was just something that I had around the house. It was like the only costume I had, and it went down.
Why did you have a Santa costume?
Because it's just been like left over from the previous Christmas, and no one had. Someone had obviously bought it and thought this would be great to use, and then it just never got used. So it was like a brand new Santa costume. So yeah, anything that you can kind of just like around the house, just find and make a costume out of. That's where I'm at.
Okay, let's go to category number 2, which is going to be candy. What are you drafting as your candy pick?
Easy one for me. I've gone for jelly beans.
Okay.
I like them a lot. There's different, there's some jelly beans I don't like at all. Different. You got to find the right brand or the right. I'm guessing it's the factory in which they're made. So we have all of these like convenience stores or like supermarkets here that have their like own brand stuff. So you have like Tesco's jelly beans, Sainsbury's, Co-op, etc., etc. And I'm guessing that they all buy in from like the same, or some of them buy in from like the same factories and the same places. There are some that are really good and there are some that are awful. So I'd like to give a shout out to Asda, Co-op, and Tesco's, who I think buy from the same supplier. So yeah, in the UK, if you're watching this and you want to go and get some good jelly beans, hop down to Asda, Tesco, or Co-op.
I would say not sponsored. Joe Biden, not sponsored. Look right into the camera if you're watching this.
I would say Jelly Belly, which is the number one here, is actually the worst.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
I think
either.
Starburst is the best by far.
I've not had those.
I like Jelly Belly sour jelly beans. The regular ones don't do it for me.
They're so inconsistent. I mean, you're maybe eating 60% of what's in a big bowl. The Starburst is a hit all the way.
You remember when people thought it was cool to say they liked buttered popcorn flavor jelly bean? Although I'm sure you're one of the people that does, don't you, Joe?
I never remember a time when that was cool. I've seen that. I've tried it. It's bad. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But I think there's a bubblegum flavor as well. I remember when people thought the Harry Potter one was cool, where you're just eating
when it was
the
like
Bertie
farts
Botts.
and...
right, when you're just eating gross stuff just to say,
every flavored beans.
Yeah. Those are they still sell them.
Yeah, no.
They're at my local Walgreens all the time.
Yeah,
so all right, so my pick, I'm going with something that doesn't exist but we heard about every single year, and that's candy with razor blades in it. So we were always told, make sure you break your candy in half. There could be razor blades in it. Someone could have slipped a razor blade into that packaged candy. I never saw one. I always kind of wanted to. I always thought it would be cool to be the guy who actually got a razor blade in his candy, but I think that's an urban legend.
I think that was more of a just more of a general lesson, more of a parable than anything, you know.
Okay, like
Just-
don't take candy from strangers.
Right, and just don't, just always be aware of something you're getting from somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing
Yeah.
exists in the UK. It's sort of, if you ever get a chocolate bar, check for a little needle hole in there in case someone's injected it with. Well, I don't know what they'd be injecting in there, but it's the same thing. Heroin, I'm guessing. Yeah, is probably the obvious one. But yeah, Kit Kats as well. Like any chocolate where you can sort of like unpackage the whole thing and then put it back together. Never accept that from a stranger.
Joe, what's your candy pick?
I'm a major Kit Kat guy, but specifically a Kit Kat bar where you can see the wafer from behind it. I don't know if you eat a Kit Kat bar sometimes.
See-through chocolate.
It's a very thicker. There's like thicker Kit Kats, and then there's ones that have like a much thinner, like back to it.
Okay, I know.
I feel like that's just if it kind of melts a bit and it peels off on the wrapper.
Nah,
Is that what you're talking about?
It's I believe it's the anatomy of the actual bar itself.
Okay.
Usually you find it a little thinner in the bigger bars itself. The individual Halloween ones, not as much. But I love Kit Kat bars. I eat them all year round. This is an easy choice for me. I'm disappointed that didn't come off the board. I do like the razor blade thing, but I do feel like that was more of a wild card pick.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I was between the razor blade and apples. So I'm just thinking back to my trick or treating years. So I was between those two. I don't know. I felt it might. Yeah, you might be right, but I might have something else up my banana sleeves.
I know
for
you
my
got
wild
something else
card.
up your sleeve, but just little eligibility concerns as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to round 3, and I have to check my notes here. Is movie round 3 is going to be movie. What's your Halloween movie?
My Halloween movie is Mean Girls.
Oh, that was on my list.
It's a great pick.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't like a lot of the traditional Halloween. I don't do the Hocus Pocus and the whatever else there is. The Michael Myers.
So you don't do the kids' Halloween movies?
No, I mean I don't know. I never thought it warranted. Like I never thought Halloween warranted its own genre of movies.
Okay.
I just felt like it's not so much of a season, you know.
Yeah,
but
it's a day.
the Mean Girls Halloween scenes, and some would say it's a Christmas movie as well. But it's probably the movie I've seen the most out of any other movie, which is very sad, but it's true.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were such a Mean Girls guy.
It's not even that. It was just more out of like it was always on TV, like TBS, TNT. Throw it on. It's funny, man. A lot of quick hitters in that one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Scream.
Never seen it.
I do really like traditional Halloween movies. I love Halloween. I love Friday the 13th. Gonna watch Nightmare on Elm Street tonight. But yeah, Scream's great because it's kind of a parody of the Halloween genre. Goes against everything you'd expect from a traditional Halloween movie, and to me it's just one of my favorite. Like I could watch it any time of year, but I make sure to watch it every Halloween. So
what's the
big fan of Scream?
What's the British one? What's the Simon Pegg one?
Oh yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Yes,
Great film.
Something I would
That is
one
a great
day
one.
will watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never seen it?
No.
Okay, good reference for something you've never seen.
It's like sticking out to me, like because you said not like the traditional, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like that one movie that I know I exist that I've never seen.
No, I like it. I like that pull. Dan, what's your movie pick?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Shaun of the Dead is a great option. I had Mean Girls on my list. I also put Hocus Pocus on there. Mainly, I don't think I've seen it in probably 10 years at least. But as a kid, I do remember that film really well. And obviously, it has Sarah Jessica Parker, who went on to be in Sex in the City, so that was always like everyone watched it and they were like, oh, that's a young Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
So it always had that going for it. But I think I'm gonna throw in one last minute here that wasn't on any of my lists, but I do like Shutter Island, the Scorsese,
Okay.
DiCaprio, Mark Ruffalo film. Yeah, I like that film. It's got a good amount of like scary about it. I'm not so much into like the slasher kind of genre that you're talking about there. But yeah, I do like films that are kind of psychologically a little bit sort of scary and make you think. And yeah, Shutter Island I think is a really good one for that. Yeah, I got another one on here, but I think I'm going to save that maybe for the wild card round because there is sort of a caveat to it.
I do like the Shutter Island pick, and that's definitely more my genre of movie as well. I like kind of the old slasher movies. Today, they're just like, I don't know, a little too gory, a little too over the top. But I do like the psychological thriller. I was thinking like a Get Out is great.
Yeah.
Us, kind of Jordan Peele's follow up, both great. But there's a lot of great kind of psychological thrillers. I didn't even think of those as Halloween movies, but that's a great choice there. All right, let's go to decoration. This will be round 4, drafting our favorite Halloween or maybe not favorite, just drafting Halloween decorations. Dan, we'll start with you.
I think knowing now that I'm first up, I think I've got to just take the pumpkin. It's versatile. You can do whatever you want with it. You know, it is Halloween in many ways, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the pumpkin. You can also obviously get some ingredients out of it as well to make some pumpkin pie or I don't know, pumpkin mash. Is that a thing? Who knows? But yeah, pumpkin's gonna be my thing. And you know, if you're really creative, you can do a lot with that. You could have any logo or image you want if you are talented enough. I'm not talented enough, but
I might be the worst ever at carving pumpkins. That was my pick, was pumpkin. So I will go to my number 2, which is going to be like skeletons or people coming out of the ground on the lawn. I always think it's funny. You just have kind of a normal lawn all year. And then you put these kind of horrifying images out there and you see little kids playing on the lawn and there's, you know, dead people coming out of the ground.
It's nice.
Always a funny juxtaposition there. I'm disappointed to not have the pumpkin. I'll say that. But I'm happy enough with my second pick. Joe, what is your decoration pick?
So the short answer is zombies. Where I run in Hawthorne, on Lafayette Ave. And there's a house there that has 90 zombies figures on their lawn. And it's a little bit annoying to run around because a lot of people stop. And a couple weeks ago, the city actually sent an ordinance for this guy to shut it down. Because it's truly an eyesore. But I haven't been following the case as much. It's just been kind of forcing me to go run there more. And it's like a pleasant surprise because I'll start like about a mile or 2 away, and then once I come, it's nice to see what's going on. It's been a very back and forth. A lot of time the owner is standing in front, and now they've reached a true agreement. He's fine. It'll be up. He has to take it down the day after Halloween. But it's been a cool saga, and it's a pretty cool like exhibit thing. I mean, I agree with a lot of the town members. It's certainly a distraction, and it's not very artistic. It's just kind of a lot of zombies, you know. But it's, I mean, 90 figurines is crazy. And my thing is, you know, the other 11 months, I mean, if something ever happened in his home, you're talking about somebody's going to come across these 90, you know, dolls.
Well, I was going to ask, do you think he stores them in his home or do you think he rents out storage space?
I don't know.
How do you fit 90 zombies into you? He might have to have a shed in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty, it's not a small house. It's a very average sized house. You know, Hawthorne kind of has those. You know, they're all kind of the same. It's a good question. Hey, if I see him, I mean, tomorrow I'll probably be over there. I might stop, and if he's cleaning up, I might give him a little interview.
Yeah, give him an interview. We could play it on next week's show.
Yeah.
Will you also ask him Or will you also take a picture? Find a picture for us. I'd love to see.
Well,
it.
I mean, I will tomorrow. I probably can't, but if you search Hawthorne Zombie, it's there.
Okay, I'll look for it and I'll share my screen here in a second after I do my pick. But that's a great pick. I love that. Oh wait, no, it's not my turn to pick. I've already picked. We're going to something scary, which I guess could also be zombies. I'm looking up the Hawthorne zombies right now. Yeah, there we go. Hawthorne zombie.
Yeah,
house.
I can. I'll pull it up on here.
Okay. Oh yeah. Do you have to share your screen, Dan? I guess.
No, I can just overlay it on the thing.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Just give it an overlay. This is insane. They're a little bit smaller than I thought. Maybe a little more feasible to fit somewhere
it's
in
still
a
a
house.
lot though, dude.
It's a lot. No, it's a
store.
ton. It's a ton. It's insane. But I love that. I love that pick. So where does that bring us, Joe, for something scary?
So something scary. I'm actually going to go with when I would trick or treat. I would say a lot of the houses that were not decorated at all and were dark on Halloween, to me, were always scarier than the participating houses. So I will say that is something scary.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I agree with you. I think because my parents weren't big on having candy for trick-or-treaters. It was kind of like always last minute, you'd forget. There weren't a lot of trick-or-treaters on our block. So it never seemed like I always understood the people that just didn't have candy, didn't want to be a part of it, which is what I will be. I don't want people ringing on my doorbell. For sure. I'm gonna be the Grinch of Halloween. I just don't like it. It's too much. I don't know. It's not for me. Was there anything worse than Halloween on a weekend? Like Halloween on a weekend when you're in college or like later high school is great. When you're young, I feel like there's something so exciting about waiting for trick-or-treating like all through school.
Oh yeah, and the half day, you know.
Yeah, you get the half day, and yeah, it's always sucked when it fell on a weekend. Probably like the one time it did when I was of that age.
My senior year of college, I think Halloween was 3 weeks. I think we had 3 separate because Asbury Park is crazy with Halloween. They do this zombie walk. That is the capital of Halloween in my opinion.
So I'm between two for something scary here, and since you went with kind of a nostalgic memory, I'll go with a bit of a memory as well. You talk about having 3 Halloweens. We had usually 2, like TCU had 2 Halloween weekends essentially, and there was 2 straight weekends where I came home late. I have my bed used to be up against the wall, but there was like a little bit of a crack in between, and I would always just throw my phone and my wallet onto my bed, and 2 straight weekends it slipped beyond the crack and fell down under my bed to a point where I couldn't see it. And I woke up in the morning, didn't remember I'd tossed them there, looked everywhere, looked at my clothes, used my friend's phone to call the bars we were at. Did I leave them there? That's the scariest feeling in the world, thinking you've lost basically your entire livelihood with your phone and your wallet. And the fact that they coincided with Halloween, it has to be on my list here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything scarier.
The only thing with that is it can happen at any time,
But it only ever happened to me on Halloween, so I feel like there's a link there. That's probably not true. It probably happened to me other times as well, but I do specifically remember these 2 instances. My backup pick would have been spiders.
It's not as scary because I think it happens once a week, every 2 weeks for me. So.
You do without fail every time I'm home to visit.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's not like an uncommon thing.
I think it happened when Dan was visiting actually, where
it did, yeah. But now I have the most I have the most obnoxious set of keys. I have this Jackal's mitt and 2 gym memberships, and my key to this is like the loudest, tiniest thing, and it's still lost all the time.
Where do you land, Dan? Do you think this is scary?
Yeah, as someone that's twice had his phone stolen. Once was at Dropkick Murphy's concert in London. was
No
really
better
bad.
place.
Yeah, I was gonna say your phone's supposed to be stolen there.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So yeah, that was I got my phone stolen there, and then also like the same year I had my phone stolen in Barcelona on the subway or underground, whatever they call it there, metro. So yeah, I think the second one is probably slightly worse. Especially because we were on our way to sign into an Airbnb, and obviously like all the Airbnb like details are on the mobile, on the phone, the cell. So yeah, I sympathize with you on that one, and the fact that it happened on
Thank you.
Halloween is even worse. So yeah, that's pretty scary experience. My something scary pick is waking up on Wednesday morning to find out that Donald Trump has a second term in office.
Well, why would you even say this?
Because it's scary. It's scary as hell. So yeah, I'll leave that there. I think we don't really need to discuss that one, but that's my something scary pick.
Even I mean that's scary, and then even the fact that the election is going to drag on for the next like 3 months is quite scary as well. So I agree. Great pick. So let's round it out here with our wild card pick. This is the final round. This can be anything Halloween. It sounds like you might be going back to an old category that we've already done. I'm going to be going back, but let's start with you, Dan. Your final pick of the draft.
Yeah, so my final pick is the musical Young Frankenstein, opposed to the film version. I think it's just a fantastic musical. I mean, it's the same as the film, but just I've seen it a few times in the musical version. I don't think I've ever watched the film all the way through at any point. I've just seen clips of the film. So yeah, that's my pick for my like Halloween wild card is Young Frankenstein the musical.
I love it. One of my favorite movies. I didn't even know there was a musical.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Have you seen Young Frankenstein, Joe?
I have not. I know that the Everybody Loves Raymond guy is in it, but I've never seen it.
Peter Barone is in it, or not Peter Barone. What's the dad's name? Frank Barone. Peter Boyle is the actor. But yeah, great pick, Dan. I'm going back to decorations for my wild card. I'm gonna go with Halloween decorations by people who don't celebrate Halloween, and they want you to know that they don't celebrate Halloween. This might be niche to the South, but I saw one the other day that, no joke, it was a cross decoration. On their lawn, they had a cross, and they had a sign on the cross that said, "The only ghost that lives here is the Holy Ghost." And I thought that that needs to be on my list. So I love that. It could just be even people in general that just want you to know that they don't celebrate Halloween. It's very in your face about it. Would never mess with that devil's magic. I don't know what it says about my dad, a pastor, who allowed me to celebrate Halloween. So if you're listening, Dad, maybe bad parenting, but yeah, that's how I'll round out my list. Joe, what's your wild card pick?
Mine is a quick story, and
Okay.
I'm gonna give as much details and as little details as possible. So this involved the Jets, and it wasn't my department, and it wasn't anybody. Well, I guess it was somebody I directly worked with, but not recently. So Halloween, the NFL, you have usually practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you see sometimes the stray player dress up. Apparently, Nick Mangold used to dress up, but it's not, it's a work day. It's taken seriously, So there was this new guy working in one of the departments, and his manager told him, oh, every year, all the coaches dress up, all the players dress up, and it's this cool thing, and like, then we do practice, then we go back, so. He has this kid. He's like, yeah, we're gonna be the Gorilla Boys, and he tells him, come dressed up as a gorilla, and I'll meet you at the start at the lobby. So he comes in and he's walking through the facility dressed up as a gorilla, and everybody else is, regular day work clothes. And the head coach at the time was just pissed at him, at the kid, like, what is this, so that's that's my Halloween story. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's a great story. So what happened? Did the other guy kind of talk to the coach on his behalf?
it was resolved. It was just more so of like the shock value of 8 a.m.
Yeah.
and he was able to get changed and proceed.
Well,
about his
I
day.
just can't imagine being that kid. That would be horrifying, having old coach pissed off.
It wasn't him.
Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Different coach pissed off. But yeah, that's amazing. All right, well, that rounds out our Halloween draft and our first live show. So good on us for that. Do you guys have any Halloween plans to kind of wrap this up?
No.
Joe, we'll start with you. No, for Dan.
I don't really know yet. I could. I just don't know if I want to.
Okay, fair enough. Not to brag, but I got invited to 3 different Halloween parties. Said no to all of them. I will be at home watching Halloween movies. Dan, I think you and I might be playing some spooky, scary Warzone. Are we streaming that later?
Yeah, we will be on Twitch. So Twitch.
Yeah, so shout out your Twitch.
TV/Dan_BTF.
If you haven't gotten enough of us talking today, but yeah, that's where we'll wrap it up. It's kind of weird because I'm supposed to be wrapping it up, but Dan, you're the one who's actually running the YouTube. So I'll say bye, and then you give us the final bye. But thank you everyone for watching, and also go check out SNG Network. We are presented by SNG Network, SNGnetwork.com. All of your gambling news, sports news, all of that, you can find it there. But that's it for this week, and we'll be back next week with some other draft or something. We'll see. Bye.